Welcome back, or welcome for the first time, if you're tuning in for the first time. I'm Sky, Hyperspace Sky, Kundalini Nervous System Guide, founder of the Hyperspace Academy, where our mission is creative recovery and evolution. Fancy way of saying becoming healed, being healed, and moving towards our dreams, right? Creative evolution and the evolution of the human, authentic human spirit, our authentic path. And a lot less is necessary than we think. It's a lot of shedding. It's a lot of just acceptance and moving into what we know feels good for us. But I mean, feels good over a long period of time, consistently. Not that feels good now and then drains us for the next, few days or weeks or whatever. I could have a whole spiel about immediate gratification and novelty and how it's how it keeps us from our desire, our deepest desires, right? And how do we find those? We don't. They exist within us. We uncover them. We remove certain things. Today, we're going to move very quickly into meditation. Oh, yeah? What else you got to say about it? What else? All right, that's enough. That's Aries. He's on one. Go ahead. This is your disclaimer that during any meditation you might hear a dog bark, or you might hear something that is trying to pull you out of the inner world and get you to involve in something that you really don't need to be involved in. Unless you do, and then you can make that decision. All right, let's get back to it. So tonight we're going to do something, a foundational meditation from the Buddhist tradition, which one of my teachers, mentors, integration coaches is a yogi and also follows a lot of kind of Buddhist teachings and practices. And he taught me this meditation, and it's very simple. It's very simple, but it's also simple isn't always easy, right? Simple isn't always easy because of how complicated our mind is, because of how complicated our lives are, because of how complicated our conditioning and deep-seated impressions are, right? So it's called Samatha Meditation. Samatha Meditation. It's translated as peaceful abiding. And we just be. We use a simple focus point of the tip of the nose, typically, and the anchor of our breath. And that's the practice. There is a little hand mudra. It's palm and palm, right and left, and with the thumb tips touching. And then we just rest the hands in the lap. You hold a straight spine, allow the shoulders to drop. We'll move into it a little more consciously and officially here in just a moment. Sometimes the hardest thing that we can do is just be. We have a world that is on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 or 366 days a year. And there's fluorescent lights. There's constant stimulation from our devices, from radio waves, from all sorts of different things. There's always something on the to-do list. And so sometimes the hardest thing that we do is just be and allow that beingness to be enough. And when we allow that beingness to be enough for long enough, we find that our true natural state is peace without anything. And that a lot of the things that we have been chasing after, or the mind has been chasing after, are not necessarily crucial to our existence. You know, most of us are not starving. Most of us have the capability to, you know, if we have internet, if you can tune into Twitch, you probably had a meal today, probably were able to drink some fresh water. You have the internet, and there's all these things that we can do. And the doing is sometimes, it's not necessary. I think a lot of us, especially myself, we get caught up in the doing. We get caught up in the how can I make progress in this area, and how can I continue to build the dream or the vision in which we have. But how do we know we're on the right track? And that is our level of contentment. And I think that's part of the hardest, that might be the hardest piece of just being, is just being content with whatever is. Whether we're in a joyful state, or we're experiencing challenge, or we're depressed, especially being with some of these emotions and different things that we've painted a picture over, or we put barriers around because they're unacceptable or acceptable, depending on who you are, where you are, how you express, these kind of things. And so tonight, we're just going to be. I'm going to be you, where you are, and just allow this beingness to take over. Yeah. That's good. Let's get into it. We ready? We're ready. So, hand mudra, left hand in the right hand, thumb tips touching, resting in the lap, lifting up through the spine, chin pulled slightly in, and then drop in. Go ahead and close the eyes. You can bring your awareness to the tip of the nose, where it will remain. Allow your eyes to be in a fixed space behind the closed eyelids, or if you'd like to keep the eyelids like 1/10 open and look at the tip of the nose, you can do that too. It can be easier to stay in consciousness and to stay with the breath and the practice of just being if we don't completely close the eyes sometimes, because the mind could drift off into the abyss, into thought, and that's okay. For tonight's practice, the practice itself, the only doing that is suggested is when you find the mind has wandered away from the tip of the nose and the breath at the entrance of the nostrils. Just gently bring it back. Don't scold yourself, or there's no winners or losers here. There is just the practice of peaceful abiding. Continuing to draw the mind back to a singular focus. And that focus for tonight is the tip of the nose, the entrance of the nostrils, the breath right there. And if you find just the mind is so restless and doesn't want to stay put, then you can also add an anchor of a mantra. You can have a personal mantra, say it one round on the inhale or one round on the exhale. And if you don't have a mantra to use and you want one, you can use Sat, Nam, Sat on the inhale, Nam on the exhale, I am truth, or So Hum. So Hum means infinity, I am that. Similar mantras, Sat Nam or So Hum, and just keeping the awareness with the breath at the entrance of the nostrils. Doing your best to relax into the body. next few breaths, allow your awareness to resurface a little bit more, feeling the body, the feet on the ground, or the sit bones in the chair or on the ground, the spine, and just sense overall how you're feeling. And you can stay here for as long as you can, as long as you have or see fit for yourself. And just remember that this state is always available to you. Notice, take note if it was challenging, and what about it was challenging. If the mind wasn't able to detach from the past or the future, or things that are outside, or things that are inside. This suspension of mind and calmness that can happen when we just drop into a deep state of being. Whatever you're feeling is okay. Sometimes when we drop into deeper states of being and recognition of ourselves, of our inner nature, there's things that come up and want to come out, and that's okay. I'm very grateful for you all taking this journey with me, whether you're here now, live, or in the eternal now, watching this later. I hope you continue to deepen your relationship with the self, with presence, and that you can find ways to move with more relaxation and less reaction. Sat Nam, from my heart to yours. One heart, one consciousness, expressing in an infinite amount of ways. Hope to see you tomorrow. We're going to get into some visualizations this week. In week 3, different ways to work with the different facets of being, the different koshas, sheaths of being, physical body, emotional body, mental body, energy body, body of intelligence. And the one that we seek most of all, that is our soul's desire, is the how do I say it? It's the bliss body. Yeah. And it's the deepest of what we are. And when we touch it, our life changes. It changes. So, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Sat Nam. And I'll see you tomorrow. Blessings.